Hey guys, I'm the NFL Addict, and today I will be making my record predictions for the 2021 Jacksonville Jaguars. And guys, it's not going to be a fun one to watch if you're a Jaguars fan. So if you're a Jaguars fan expecting me to give you multiple wins, then this isn't a video for you. I'm not very high on the Jaguars at all. Maybe I'll give them a couple wins here and there, but it's not going to be good, especially looking at how tough their schedule is for any team, really. It's not going to be a good one. However, the good thing that's going to come from this is the fact that maybe the Jaguars can get another top draft pick and give themselves a super team in the next couple of years. Let's go ahead and get started. Make sure you like and subscribe when doing these for every single team. Almost halfway done with the AFC. Once I finish this, then we'll only have the AFC East, AFC West to get to. Then I'll finish off the NFC, do the playoffs, and then I'll start all over with some updated predictions because things are changing in NFL all the time. So let's go ahead and get started talking about the Jaguars. Didn't really do anything whatsoever leading up to the draft. Their offseason, they didn't really do much. They were just kind of, waiting for the draft so they can make their big move and draft Trevor Lawrence. What they did, I definitely think is probably the best move. I assume that he will be starting in week 1, so that means that I assume he will be starting for every single game. The only other major pick they had was Travis Etienne, which I don't much like because they already had James Robinson. And that was really their only part of their offense that was working was their running game last year because of James Robinson. And that was with no O-line. So, Kim Robinson, I guess he's an okay left tackle. But really, other than that, they've got DJ Chark, a meh, really less than meh, pretty bad defense. They've got maybe DJ Chark, who really would be a good wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 for a really good offense. He'd be a poor. He's really DJ Chark is really more of a wide receiver 3. I'm sorry. Trevor Lawrence, though, I think that his skills will carry over. I think that he will be a pretty good team. I think they may be kind of like the Texans in a way. They're kind of built the same way because the Texans, they have 2 pretty good running backs, and I assume Travis Etienne will play really well at running back. He looked pretty good in college, and I assume that won't completely fade away. And they also have a pretty good QB. I'm not gonna say Trevor Lawrence is any good as Deshaun Watson, but I assume he will be not the worst in the league. So getting started right off the bat, and you're probably going to hear a lot of, I'm going to give them a loss here. They have an away game to start against Houston. Houston got rid of 2 of their top 3 players with Will Fuller and J.J. Watt out of there. Now they've got Deshaun Watson hanging around with Kiki Cutie and Brandon Cooks just kind of sitting there in that offense. So I don't much like what the Texans have got going with them. However, they do still have, a kind of pretty okay passing game, and their running game with Mark Ingram and Philip Lindsay is going to be very good. So I think they've got that going for them. So like I said, they've kind of similar teams. I just like Houston's offense a whole lot more than I like Jacksonville's offense, and really I just feel like they're better teams. So they're going to get the win. In week 2, they have their home game against Denver. This is a game that definitely can win. These are 2 games that if they play at their best, they can definitely probably beat them. When I go through, I'm going to do worst case scenario, then I'm going to do best case scenario after I finish doing my normal predictions. And in best case scenario, they'll probably win one of their games against Houston, probably the one where they're at home, and probably this one against Denver. However, while Philip Lindsay did go from Denver to Jacksonville, I really think that Philip Lindsay was a really good addition. Sorry. Dang it. I thought I was talking about Houston again. No. Philip Lindsay left Denver, so that it definitely is a bit of a minus on offense. I actually, I might like Jacksonville's offense a tiny bit better than I like Denver's offense, actually. I'll give that to them. However, Denver's defense is miles and miles above where Jacksonville's defense is. They have Justin Simmons that they picked up from the Bears. They have Patrick Simmons, who they drafted, of course. They completely ramped up that secondary over this offseason. And, that defense was what carried them through most of their games. And now they went out and they got themselves an even better one. And they did kind of get a replacement for Philip Lindsay in the draft, though we'll have to, wait to see if that pays off. So I like what Denver's doing. And I'm going to give them a win over Jacksonville. Now they've got a rough game against Arizona. Arizona added some veteran talent in the offseason with J.J. Watt and A.J. Green. They also added some other players, not very massive additions. And, I like what the Cardinals have got doing on that offense. That offense is very, very talented. Stars all around. I really like what they've got going. Fitzgerald's leaving, but, he's been around for so long. It was inevitable. He was nearing the end of his career, and it faded away. Sad to see him go, though. He was one of my favorite players. I normally drafted him on anytime I had a fantasy league, I normally got Fitzgerald just so I could have him because I was a big fan of Larry Fitzgerald. He left, though, and so I feel like the only way that Jacksonville could win is maybe by exploiting that Arizona secondary, I guess. But Budda Baker's still back. I don't see a way for Jacksonville to win because that Arizona defense is still pretty good. J.J. Watt now in that front seven. And I know that he's getting old, but he is still putting up numbers. He is still very productive. He's shown a slight decline. He's not as explosive, but he definitely is still really good. If a rookie was to come in and have his numbers, he'd be pretty good. So now Arizona gets the win here against Jacksonville. All right, now Jacksonville starting off 0-3, and I have a feeling that at least two of these aren't going to be very pretty losses. There's no pretty losses, but they're not going to be 24-25. Where it's like, oh, these two teams played kind of on the same level. I feel like these two are going to be kind of far apart. Now they go into Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, they got Jamar Chase, who's going to be a big addition. And they passed up on Penei Sewell, which I don't like. It was through the offseason, one of the big debates was Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase, because everyone was pretty sure that both of them were going to be available at 5, and Cincinnati obviously was going to have to pick between them two or pick some other dude, which nobody really thought they would. And they went with Jamar Chase. I was thinking Penei Sewell, so I don't like that. But other than that, I love the Jamar Chase pick. I think that is definitely going to be a massive addition to the already stellar wide receiver group. And I'm going to give them the win here, Cincinnati. I know you're probably looking at the side and be like, what? 5-12? Why would you have them? I do like that wide receiver group, and I'm going to have them beat Jacksonville. Not just because of that. They do have some other good players. But I just thought I should mention that. Now I have to go up against Tennessee, probably the best team in their division. I'm going to have to give Tennessee the win here. Now I'm going to have to speed up. Guys, oh my God, I have to go before my computer dies. Oh no. But now they have a home game against Miami, who's also going to be one of the better teams this season. They went out and they got themselves Jalen Waddle in the draft, and also they did not draft a quarterback, and they only signed Jacoby Brissett, so they have a lot of faith in Tua Tagovailoa. I like that. They're giving Miami the win here. I'm going to check, make sure. I have no idea if my computer's charging. I'm going to hope it is, but if this video cuts out, then it's whatever. Now they're 0-6. They're looking. They have to play Seattle, Buffalo, Indianapolis. Look at this schedule. Look at this schedule. They have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight weeks against pretty good teams. And then they finally get a couple weeks here where they're kind of off against teams that they could probably beat, and then it's back into the races. But in Week 8, against Seattle, I'm going to have to give Seattle the win here. I'm sorry. The bye week is really the only thing that Jacksonville has got going right now against Seattle. I just can't see them beating Seattle. I'm sorry. Again, Buffalo, probably the second best team in the league. I'm going to have to give this one to Buffalo. It's not even close. So they're going to start off probably with 2 big blowouts. Now we tend to go into Indianapolis. I've got them going 8-9. I'm pretty sure. Well, 6-9. Sorry, I missed that as an 8. I was like, what? But anyways, Indianapolis. It's all gonna rely on what Carson Wentz does. But even if he plays badly, I don't think that that defense is gonna let up enough. That that already pretty talented offense is gonna play down enough to let Jacksonville beat them. And I'm gonna have to give Indianapolis the win here. And now they're 0-9. San Francisco, fully healthy San Francisco can probably beat this Jacksonville team. Atlanta, hopefully, all the bad luck from that Super Bowl. All the bad losses. They really should have had a winning record the past couple of seasons, but they've kind of been screwed out of it by really the fourth quarter has ended their whole career, really. I'm going to give Atlanta the win here. I assume that they won't choke badly in this one. Now they have to go into Los Angeles to play this really talented Rams team who they already won a playoff game last year. Then they upgraded a quarterback. They got a couple more weapons. I like what the Rams did. I'm going to give them the win. Now they're 0-12. Now they're going to get swept by Tennessee and Houston. And now they have another. This is probably the game. These two right here, I think they definitely can win. I just lean towards Houston because I like their offense a lot more than I like Jacksonville's. And I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Houston is not going to get. I feel like Houston can get a sweep here against Jacksonville. And now they have to go into New York. And now I can already hear all the people getting mad at me if I pick. I mean, if I pick the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this one, the Jets fans are going to get mad at me. If I pick the Jets to win this one, the Jaguars are going to get mad at me. These are probably the two worst teams in the league. Don't understand why this isn't prime time. Come on. Everybody wants to see this. 3 p.m. Nobody cares. But now, man, this is a rough one. You know, y'all are going to hate me for this, but I like the ATV pick better than I like the Travis Etienne pick, and I like that Jets offense better than I like Jacksonville. I don't like either of their defenses. This is definitely going to go Jacksonville's way whenever I'm doing best case, worst case scenario. Man, I did not expect to do this, but I'm looking at a team that I'm about to predict to get 0 wins. But hey, maybe I'll change my mind by the time I get to week 18 in 5 minutes. Now they have an away game against the Patriots. They re-signed Cam Newton, which I do like. I feel like just cutting him and starting from scratch isn't a good idea. They went out, they signed him for another year. They got him a ton of more weapons. Now they have probably a top 5 tight end duo in the league with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. So I like what they're doing. I'm giving New England the win here. And I'm going to have to give Indianapolis a sweep. It feels so wrong. But the Jaguars are going to go 0-17 next year. And, I'm sure they won't. It's one of those things, I'm sure they won't go 0-17, but they are worse than every single one of these teams. I can't see them getting a win. I just don't. I mean, that feels so bad picking them to go 0-17 because I'm sure in real life they're going to go 2-15 or something. It's going to be pretty tough for a team to go 0-17 even if they are this catastrophically bad. But it's just the fact that, I look at all these games and I predict them and I think about them and I just cannot, reasonably think that they're going to win. Or, I can reasonably say they're going to win, but I could also much more reasonably say the other team's going to win. But I'm sure, they'll get an upset win against the Bills somehow. Now, let's go through worst case scenario. Done. Now let's go through best case scenario. So, I think they can beat Denver. If Drew Lock goes out and has another terrible year, if that rookie running back they just drafted doesn't pay off, they can get the win. They could get the win over Cincinnati. If Jamar Chase isn't a star, then, Jacksonville's definitely going to have pretty good chance of winning this one. And then I could see them beating these. Like I said, these are probably the 2 games I think they could win probably the most. But yeah, 4-13 is best case scenario. This is, most of the time I say if you're a Jacksonville or Indianapolis Colts fan when I was on the Colts, then you really hope this is your best case scenario. This is what you hope is going to happen. But if you're a Jaguars fan, you don't hope this is going to happen. This is like you're bad. You're really bad, but you're not bad enough to get a top 3 pick. I mean, man, I feel really bad. This is probably the worst team we've had in a while, which is weird because now they've got the best rookie quarterback probably. It's weird saying that. But yeah, I'm going to change all these back. Normally it's pretty hard figuring out which ones were already wins, but this one is not. I am so sorry, Jacksonville fans. I am really expecting to get a ton of dislikes and a ton of comments. By the way, if you dislike this video and then you don't comment, that's kind of like dude, just comment. Don't dislike and run away. Comment, confront me. Tell me why you think the Jaguars are going to get wins. So that whenever I do my updated predictions, maybe I can say, hey, remember what this dude in the comment section told me, something I hadn't thought about yet? Maybe there was some player that I haven't even heard of somehow, some way, that had a superstar season last year that could get them a win against the Jets. Let me know, because I am going to be redoing these, and what you tell me in the comments could affect that. And also, don't just dislike. That helps nobody. And yes, it hurts me. Please, don't dislike. Thanks so much for watching. I'm very sorry, Jaguars fans. For any Colts, for any AFC South fans who aren't a fan of the Jaguars, you're welcome. I hope you're happy watching this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.